I really can't blame Emily Stewart for putting a bullet or eight into Paul Ryan under the circumstances.
So there are circumstances where it is acceptable to break the law and shoot a man in cold blood.
You betcha.
And what, pray tell, are those times?
You'll see, Mr. District Attorney. I'm Emily Stewart's defense attorney who'll be seeing you in court.
All rise.
Would both attorneys approach the bench? Since this is a preliminary hearing to establish whether Ms. Stewart should be remanded to stand trial, I intend to give both of you leeway in presenting your evidence. However, I will not have this courtroom turned into a circus. Do I make myself clear?
Crystal, Your Honor.
We wouldn't dream of causing a scene.
The prosecution calls Paul Ryan to the stand. Mr. Ryan, could you please describe the defendant, Miss Emily Stewart, to the court?
She's nuts. Certifiable.
Would you care to elaborate?
She shot me. You should lock her up and throw away the key.
Your witness.
Is it nuts, then, once a woman is proposed to and the proposal has been accepted, to anticipate a wedding? And is it certifiable for that woman to retaliate when the aforementioned wedding is called off?
Objection. Counsel is leading the witness.
Yes, I am leading the witness to realize that his actions are to blame for Miss Stewart's utterly reasonable reaction.
Overruled.
Counselor is supposed to be cross-examining my witness, not testifying herself.
Paul Ryan maliciously led on a woman he knew to be fragile. He played with her emotions and then heartlessly dumped her. He drove her to the brink, leaving Miss Stewart no choice but to strike out against him as she did.
Says who?
Says anyone with an X chromosome.
Men have one of those, too.
So, it's unanimous.
Order's adjourned for the day. And Mrs. Hughes, take it outside.
Push someone hard enough, and attempted murder easily becomes justifiable homicide. All done, Pinky. My turn.
You can keep repeating it all you want, but you'll never make Emily the victim in this case. Paul Ryan is the one with bullet wounds in his chest.
And poor Emily has a hole in her heart. There's all sorts of ways to be victimized.
Well, you need to brush up on your jurisprudence, my dear.
Hey! That hurt!
Lighten up.
You lighten up! You act like you're all offended by my interpretation of the law, and what you're really upset about is your own wife wiped the floor with you in court today.
Call your first witness, Miss Hughes.
The defense calls Emily Stewart. So, Miss Stewart, how did you feel when Mr. Ryan called you, quote, certifiable?
Like I always felt when Mr. Ryan called me that. Like he was the first man who ever really truly understood me.
So Mr. Ryan was aware of your emotional difficulties when he proposed to you?
Oh, yes, he was. He said that we were both two very deeply disturbed people, and that rather than make two other perfectly sane people miserable, we ought to stick together and see if we could just make each other happy.
So you were all set to marry and live happily ever after?
Yes, I was. Until I saw Paul, my fiancé, with another woman. All those beautiful things he said to me, all the plans we made, gone, tossed away, like I was disposable. My poor little heart was broken. I'm afraid I wasn't myself.
Miss Stewart, do you always carry a gun?
No, I bought it that day.
For what purpose?
To shoot my fiancé.
A clear case of cold-blooded, premeditated, attempted murder, Your Honor. The prosecution rests.
Redirect, Your Honor. Miss Stewart, how well do you know our district attorney?
Intimately, but not well.
I beg your pardon?
He's my son's father.
I object!
That's what I said.
It's irrelevant.
Overruled. I want to hear this.
Do you think Tom likes you?
About as much as he'd like a burst appendix. The fact is, you don't like me much either.
Well, I don't have to like you. I have to defend you, which is what our district attorney doesn't understand. He has an agenda, Your Honor. He is using this case to punish the mother of his child.
I object!
I agree. Prosecution is engaged in a flagrant conflict of interest. Charges against Miss Stewart are dropped. Case dismissed.
Hold on a minute!
Too late. You lose. Truce, Pinky.
No thanks. I'm driving.
Where are you going?
Away? Far enough away that I can start forgetting that my wife humiliated me in open court.
But I won the case. That's not humiliation. That's my job.
Then keep doing it. You just won't have Thomas Christopher Hughes to kick around anymore.
I won't let you leave. No. Sit. Stay.
I'm not your lapdog, Margot, and I can't stay after the way you treated me. You see, you only left me with one choice.
Tom! No! You misunderstand. Don't be ridiculous. Nothing I possibly could have done could justify you shooting. Oh!
Face it, kid. You're all wet.
Why, I...